platform for all the church secretaries. And we take their counting, their data, and they will post it on the platform so that I'll work it out on the system. And when they come the need to visit them also, I meet them at the various churches and we take the necessary information and those that we are able to upload it, we do it, like the taking of the photograph, their church buildings, their new baptized members, we take their forms and everything so that we upload them in the system. That's what we have been doing it.
Can I get some clarification? You said you have a platform for the church secretaries? What's that platform? All right, you're hitting me with something a little bit new. I mean, I know WhatsApp, but what do you mean? Did yeah, how is that working? And all your church secretaries, because they have phones, right?
The WhatsApp have a system where you create the group like what we have here. So it's a group thing. So we will join all of them together on one common page. Like for mine is stadium. I'm working with the stadium district. So I have this here. Sorry. So okay, so we have them here. These are the members. So local and district secretaries. So I'll put all of them together here. So we have from for every church. So whenever we want to do something on ACMS, we first discuss it here. And every information that I need from them, they will put it here so that I will forward it onto the system. I'll put them into the system. And when the needs come to me to go to them for other clarifications, I will just go there and sit with them so that we do whatever we have to. When they do some baptism or when there are baptisms, I'll go there and take. If I do the baptism myself, I'll then take the data. I'll print the registration form from the ACMS. I'll take it down there. They will fill it, and I'll come and enter it on the ACMS. So we work with them from the WhatsApp page before we take it up to before we can do the other ones.
Is this something that is done by all of the data managers? Is this basically mostly? Well, bravo to you guys for figuring out a solution. And I'm hearing and I'm getting some ideas how we might even be able to help eventually with maybe getting on the smartphone something that might help you guys in our ACMS Plus product. But even without that, you guys have been very resourceful in coming up with a solution that is working here. And I'm really happy to hear about that. So, I mean, it's actually surprising me. I didn't know this was being done here. And you've put in infrastructure that wasn't there and to meet a need because the church secretaries are probably much more comfortable with WhatsApp and that's easier to use, right? Than having to try to connect to the internet and all of that, even on their phone to connect to ACMS is tricky, isn't it? For some of the secretaries on their phones. They wouldn't, yeah, that wouldn't be comfortable for them. So, you know what? Man, I'm proud of you guys. Truly, that's great. This is what we need to hear. This is what we need to hear. What a blessing. If I don't even, I want to hear many more things, but right there is already a gem for me to tuck away as to what's really happening on the ground. Okay, what's really happening. I didn't know that was happening. And that's very educational for me to know that. Yes, sir.
The district. This thing is in the conference too. We connect the district secretaries, and the district secretaries connect the local community. So we too have the platform for the secretaries in the districts where we discuss this issue that's talking about here. We also have platform for that one. So when they got that one, they will send it on their local platforms for their local secretaries. That's how it works. That the general manager that we're talking about. Yeah, the same person. The same person. Yeah. Yeah, the same person. So the conference secretary, work with those general secretary. Yeah. So we have platform for all the general secretary. Yeah, 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 WhatsApp platform. Yeah, for all of them. So we discuss with the general secretaries. The day to take it to the other. Uh-huh.
If you and your conference were to decide that, um, let's just pick one, previous religion, if that was strategic for you, you could send a message to your district, your data managers, say, please be sure that the secretaries are sending you the previous religion, that they're getting that. Okay. And then it would be done. Oh, on whether they've been attending regularly. Okay, we're going to have a presentation that includes that. Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay. What my colleague and I here just exchanged was ACMS is missing that communication tool. And you guys have filled the gap with WhatsApp. And I didn't really realize we were missing that particularly. This is why it's so helpful for us to talk with people who are really doing the work, right? You guys are the ones really doing the work. And so I'm going to ask a question because you've got a pretty good system in place with your WhatsApp groups. If, if, I'm just asking the question as the, as the director, I've got to think about these things. If we were to provide something, an app that would let you do that communication, ACMS Plus, we're considering doing an app called ACMS Plus. It would have to be as easy to use as WhatsApp, right? And that's the key, right? If we make something and it's harder to use than WhatsApp, you guys are going to keep using WhatsApp, right? All right. All right, we're tucking this away. We're tucking this away. Yeah, yeah, we're just tucking away. We need to know and understand. Yeah, dear.
Well, maybe something that we need to know and understand, and maybe even share with others that is a way to solve the communication problem through WhatsApp groups and that kind of stuff, or if we can take something into ACMS, or what part of this problem we can solve in ACMS. Maybe it's not all the communication, but there's something there that we can help in ACMS.
So this is important. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have any of you heard of the app called Signal? It's a messaging app. Have any of you heard of that? I know it's one they're mentioning at the general conference more these days, and I was just wondering if it was being used here or not. Doesn't sound like it. Sounds like WhatsApp is king, right? All right. All right. I just wanted to clarify. Just gathering information. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to gather information. Okay, that is exceptionally helpful. And I don't know if the other is Southern, Pastor Chris. Does your union also utilize the district data managers and the WhatsApp groups as well? Well, that probably, so the member profile, since we're focusing on mission, everything this week, we're focusing on mission, but this particular time slot had that label in the title. And so the information in the member profile itself has a lot of those foundational elements that we've talked about as far as being able to do analysis of the classification field, those categories, to be able to try to help people stay in the church before we lose them. The age, the previous religion, these kinds of fields can help with mission. So I actually, we're gonna go through a couple more slides, and then I'm going to ask you to get into some small groups by your conference this time. I want you by your conference because I want to hear what I want you guys as a conference to come up with a list of a few things that you in the conference or at the district have already done that could be called, everything you're doing is mission, by the way. Keeping that record keeping that the data managers are doing, you are doing mission. You are supporting mission. Okay? It is doing mission, doing that. But that's the foundation. Now I want to talk about that next layer that we can build on top of the foundation. And that is, how are you using that information? And if you are not just yet, that's okay. Come up with an idea or two on what you could do. Now, I'm going to give you an example. I was just telling Pastor Nathan a few minutes ago that we have in our plan, it has not been done yet, but we have in our plan adding another option to the member profile called people group. And that's a word that Adventist Mission uses. So I'm not sure what the appropriate word here. It might be tribe. It might be something else, but people group. Which people group did this individual come from? So that we can learn which people groups has the church actually reached. In one country in Eastern Africa, there's quite a few Adventists, but it turns out that 80% of them are from one tribe. One tribe. Most of the tribes in that country have not been reached. So that's something else that we're in conversations with Adventist Mission about the best way to move forward on that. But as I go through the next few slides, I want you to be thinking about what you are doing or what you maybe could do, what you could do with what you already have, or what you wish you could do. All right, I really want you to be thinking about that. I'm just going to go through here. I mentioned how those were configurable. We saw the example of the gender and age range, previous religion. So if previous religion turns out to be something that would be strategic, it looks like we would need to focus and get a message through your WhatsApp groups to be sure to collect previous religion, because most of the division does not have that information in the member records yet. Okay, so that's how running reports can help. We can see, where are we missing information? Before we do analysis, we need to have enough data in there to make the analysis relevant. Let's see. Oh, at the church, talk about address updates. And Jerry, are you including the mapping in one of your presentations? Okay. Huh? Probably? Okay. Definitely? Did I hear that? Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm going to give you the tip of the iceberg, but this is another example of the potential for mission with that foundational record keeping that's being done. I said at the church, we need the address updated. The address or the geolocation, the latitude and longitude, right? And let me just share one reason why. There's many reasons, but let me share one. If you're thinking about church planting, where you're going to put a new church, wouldn't it help to know where your existing ones are? Right? Where are your existing churches? Well, this map is not, the capability is not yet built into ACMS, but we can help you generate these maps if the church address has been entered in ACMS. So this is a random city down in South America or Mexico. I forget which country this was, but that's not important. We pulled the church addresses from ACMS. All right, the church secretaries or district, the data managers had the church address information in ACMS. So Jerry was able to pull that information out, and Jerry is familiar with technologies that allow him to place it on a map. Now, this map is showing the official boundary of this city, and he also put on that map, he put on what's called a heat map. The gold and red are indicating the population density. Where it's gold, there are a lot of people in that city. And now we can see, where are the companies and churches. So if we're thinking of doing a church plant, well, there's areas that we aren't covering right now. And as a tool to keep in your tool belt, you can even add another element to this, where you can put a buffer around each church. If each church had the potential to serve 50,000 people in some way, we can put that buffer around that church location and say, you can see how far out the reach is for 50,000 people based on the density of that city, the population density. And even if each church could reach 50,000 people, you still see some gold areas. Some gold areas where there's no church, there's no reach. So if you're considering church planting, this can be another tool. It's not the only tool you're going to use when you're deciding where to put a church, but it's the type of thing that can help. Right? So this, again, for you data managers, And the conference may actually be the one that updates the church addresses. How do you guys do that here? Are you an associate secretary? May I ask you? Do you update the church addresses or do the data managers?
Yeah, we do update. We do the update. Yeah. Yes, please.
All right. Technically, it can be done by either the conference level or down at the local district or church level. But if those addresses are entered, again, that's the foundational record keeping. But how that can support mission is directly with being able to help as you're considering church planting. And Pastor Nathan, I'm going to say that, initiatives with Mission to the Cities can also benefit from using technology like this. And I'm going to offer Jerry's services that if you want maps of your union with the current location so you can see how many churches do have their address, we can provide that. And then if you continue to update them, we can do another set for you if you have an interest in that. And not just for this union, Pastor. We need to do it for the division.
I just want to add that we had a challenge in Accra before we left because the locations and addresses are very crucial for churches. And then the names that we have are the Seventh-day Adventist Church and then the particular location. But you will have some churches bearing Prince Emmanuel Seventh-day Adventist Church, so sometimes you don't know where exactly is the location of the church. But I don't think it's the same thing here. But before I left Accra City, we took an action to change all the names of our churches to reflect the location and to also have the address, the Google address, to enable us to locate a church, because we want to direct people to the church. We are doing mission, and we must be visible, so that people will know where we are. Because if you mention that Prince Emmanuel Church, but where is Prince Emmanuel Church? But if you say Seventh-day Adventist Church, Osu Ringway, we know that's the exact location. It's because probably we don't have, and it begins with our church organization. And church organization is the name that people would want to take. But our name is still Seventh-day Adventist Church. The other names we want to add are not the actual name of the church. So let's try and do the correction as we add more churches onto the system. But I don't know how we can correct this since it's already uploaded on the system. We can do editing to a certain level, okay? So then it means that these things can be looked at and corrected, edited, and then we can have a record that will reflect the exact location and will be very helpful.
Yeah. Like we will have South Central Ghana Conference. What is South Central Ghana Conference? Where is it? It has a location. So where is the location? So we can use that one in the name. You say South Central, West Central Ghana Conference. Where is West Central Ghana? It is in Takwa. Tell us Takwa Ghana Conference. So that the location, no matter how it is identified. That is what we are coming up with. Because sometimes you use the cardinal points and you don't know where you are coming from. One of the pastors in is it Wa or Bolga? I was trying to get him tell me where Wa is. Is it in the east or in the west? And he says it's here. So I have to turn him and say this is Togo, this is Abidjan. Where is Wa? You understand? Uh-huh. So this we are doing it purposely for mission, so that if someone is far away somewhere and you mention the name of the church, the person can easily locate it than to say, what is the name of this church I heard? Something Memorial Church. And it is SDA Church. And that was the first time I heard SDA Church being Memorial Church. So let's show the location. Point to the location where the church is located.
Having the location in the name can be extremely helpful for the reasons that they both just shared. And having the address in the system as well, or the latitude and longitude, can even further pinpoint it if we're using technology to generate a map. All right? So consider, we haven't had the demonstration of the 7Me app yet, but we will. But one of the things that could be done there, and in fact is being done, I believe, Thiago can correct me if I'm wrong, but members using the app can find churches around them. It will show the pinpoint location of what churches are around me and give the exact address, and then you can get directions to the church. But it would not be able to do that just based on the name. The name is very helpful for the reasons you just said, and to see something in a list and to tell somebody, it's extremely helpful. When we then move from verbalizing or seeing it in a list to getting into an app, having those geolocation or the address can help show it exactly where it is. Right? So this is another example of what might be considered a simple thing of updating the address in ACMS. Has incredible potential for mission. Nurture and retention. We already talked a little bit about the former and inactive members with the classifications and the membership review. You can use the classifications. And using the 7Me app, Thiago will be showing you more of that. And I'll talk about advanced filters for the reports page in another session. But nurture and retention, we want these tools. Oh, here's the picture of that classification screen where you can do classifications with a whole list with your whole church name at once. You don't have to open every profile individually to change the members' classification. You can open a whole church at once. And 7Me, Thiago is going to talk about that, but that is the member app where the member, and again, the address of the church in the front of the app, that's a church photo in the app for the members that comes from where? From ACMS. Okay, if pictures are uploaded of the churches, the member will see it if they're using the member app. And Thiago's going to get into that more, but that's another example of if that basic record keeping is being done. In this case, entering the address of the church, maybe including a photo. It will make the experience for your members, and even guests can use the app as well. They don't have all the features, but they can use it. It will make that experience much better for them. All in increasing their positive experience with the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Church life and outreach, I'm going to talk about integrated report another time. I'm going to put up a few very simple examples. And then I'm going to ask you to make a list kind of by conference. But in addition to the basic membership statistics, having the information in the ACMS system, all of these things that I have listed here, see if I can zoom in. Could be done with the information in ACMS helping and supporting. I wonder if the data managers, do you see the upcoming birthdays of members? Yeah, okay. So either, somebody, I don't know if it's you, I know you're already very, very busy, but you or a church secretary could greet, just having the upcoming birthday display, right? Allows for greeting or sending a message to a member. And in that display, it has a link with the email address and cell phone if it's been entered. You could reach out to the member right away. I said here in this example to former members, absolutely, that you could get the addresses, the birthdays of former members as well, using the reports. Email and outreach team with strategy. Well, I see you guys are already using WhatsApp for that. You're emailing. I bet if there are outreach teams in your conferences or in your local churches, I bet they're communicating via WhatsApp. Is that right? It's been a good education for me already. Do you guys use email much here, or is it all WhatsApp? WhatsApp is faster. Okay, so you don't use all my examples about sending emails to people. That's old-fashioned already. We use it? Okay. Officially, you use it. Okay, for official communications. Okay, I see. All right. All right, we're already getting behind the times here, Thiago. Okay. Inviting teens to an event. What if the conference had a special event for young people and wanted to reach out to them? I don't know that the conference could possibly have WhatsApp groups with all the young people, but maybe. But to keep that updated as new people are getting older and as older ones are aging out of that, you have to keep updating the WhatsApp group. But using the filters, the selection options that are in ACMS, if the birth date's in there, you can figure out who's a teen, who's a young person based on the birth date, right? And we can do that. We can generate reports or download the email addresses for all the teenagers, and they could be invited to an event. Likewise, if women's ministries had an event, you could pull out the email addresses or contact info for all the women and send them information. Visiting at-risk members, again, that has to do with that classification section. If somebody is designated as being at risk, we can generate reports of those and make sure that they are getting visited before they leave the church. People who have left, we can get that information. Maybe the pastor of one of your districts, he could get that information if he had access to the system. and email department leaders regularly, analyze church locations to help determine church planting opportunities. Okay. I would like for the conferences, I don't know if you happen to be sitting with each other or not, but I'd like you to gather somewhere by conference. How many conferences do we have here today? Are they all 9? Okay, so we have 9. I'd like 9 little groups, all right? And we'll have the executive secretary when you're finished, but I would like you to write down some other ideas that you have on how membership information can be used to nurture and retain members or to reach out to non-members. But I want you guys to be thinking about how can this be used for mission, or how are you doing it already? All right, so I'd like, and we won't take too long. We'll take about 15 minutes, right? This is not a break 15 minutes. This is an assignment 15 minutes. So get together in groups by conference, and then after 15 minutes, I'm going to ask each executive secretary to share what they had said, okay? The list you come up with. All right, go ahead. Get together now by conference. Thank you. All right, I've been asked to repeat the assignment. The first step in the assignment is get together by conference. Step 1. Step 2, designate someone to take notes. Step 3. Step 2, you need to find somebody who will take notes. Step 3, list anything you are currently doing using membership information to support mission besides just entering it and looking at the main statistics. And second, ideas you have for other things that could be done based on your current knowledge of ACMS, your current knowledge of that and the church record keeping. All right. Okay, we had a designated person to take notes. And let's make sure that the executive secretaries have those notes. I know. All right. Ashanti Central. Ashanti Central. I'm going to do this alphabetically by what we have in ACMS as the names. So, Ashanti Central, where is the executive secretary? That's you, sir. All right. please tell us how the discussions went and what ideas you are doing or your group came up with. All right, everybody, can we have your attention, please? A distinguished pastor is about to speak.
Thank you very much.
All right, can we have your attention, please?
How do we use the Adventist Church Management System for missions?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And we define mission as the outreach and activities undertaken by followers of the faith to spread the teachings of Jesus Christ and share the gospel with people who may not yet be followers of the Christian faith. The primary purpose of mission is to make disciples of all nations, as instructed by Jesus in the Great Commission. That's it. Missions can take various forms, including evangelism, humanitarian aid, community development, church planting, education, medical outreach, and more. Missionaries, individuals or groups. Yeah.
Just 1 minute, Pastor. I can hardly hear him. Shh, shh. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I hope you are all ready. Okay. So let me summarize so that we can move on. How can we use the ACMS to support missions? We have some points here. Number one, missionary database. Maintain a database of missionaries, their contacts, information, mission field, and assignments. Number two, fundraising and donations. We track fundraising efforts, donation and expenses for mission trips and projects. Communication. That's point three. Utilize the system to communicate with missionaries, supported and mission teams effectively. Point four, event management. Plan and manage mission-related events, conferences, and fundraisers using the system event management features. Point number five, volunteer coordination. Manage volunteers' information, availability, and roles for mission projects. Point six is mission trips planning. That one, we identify the various professionals in the conference so that we get their information, you visit them, you identify their needs, and you plan program which will meet their needs. Also, we include visiting students in their various campuses so that we share with them the plan of the church so that those who are interested in the church also can join. That one takes place quarterly. Number four, reporting and analytics. Generate reports to analyze mission-related data, track progress, and measure the impact of mission. Number eight, prayer support. Prayer. Utilize the system to update prayer requests and mobilize the church community to pray for specific missions. 9, document management. Store and share important mission document reports and secure and resources secure within the system. That information helps us to identify those who are celebrating their birthdays. What we have identified as a conference is that the report that we get from our district secretary is that when you miss a member birthday, that when that person comes to church, it's you didn't wish me. My birthday was so and so date. So they become, why? Is it that am I no more in the church? So using that one, it helps us to push the mission forward. That is helping the church. And that one, when it is 13th Sabbath, all those who celebrate that meeting in that month, we invite them, we pray with them, and we give them some presents so that they go home and celebrate with their families. That this is what the church gave us. That's what we do in our various churches, in our conference. That's what we do. And the last point is training and resources. provide access to mission-related training materials, resources, and guide for missionaries and teams. This one is what it's all about. We see all that we are saying, the problem that we are fixing is that we push the work to where people will get interested in the church and also get information about what we stand for as Seventh-day Adventists. So with all this information, all the churches and the community that we find ourselves, they'll get to know us. Because I remember some 2 months ago, our church choir, they moved from marketplace to another. You know, they identify some people who are not in that community who were thrown out in their homes. We went there, we identified them, we prayed with them, and say, "Oh wow, these are Seventh-day Adventists." Initially, we didn't tell them that we are Seventh-day Adventists. We just invited them and prayed after identified them. Tell what they have gone through. They were happy, and with all this information we gathered from the ACMS, because we got to know that this is what the people are facing. So with these things, we are able to identify the needs, and we invite them and they help us. This is what we have as the Central Ghana Conference. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That is excellent. That was like a college paper there, a university paper. Thank you, sir. Okay. Now, I'm going to kind of wait until after I hear some more of these to make some general comments, because some of you may have the same things that he mentioned. But I do want to hear from Ashanti South now, and I will make some general comments after this. But thank you. Your workers in your conference are going to be busy. You know, it's amazing. Oh. Oh, where the king is. All right. Excellent. Have you been able to make have you been able to invite him to a church yet? Have you invited the king to a church? Yes?
We have a church called Acts 2000 Church. It's where we worship the king. The king, we share war. Only war. Where the king resides, it is where the king, the Asante Otunfo, where he resides, it is only a wall that separates between our church. So sometimes he'll be on the upper roof, and he will invite us. Oh, my children, I was hearing you singing. So next time, come and sing to me again. Yeah. Oh yeah. That is a fact. That is a fact that he extends invitation to us that we should come to him. Yeah. That Asante. Yeah. And on Thursday, when we go there, you will see that all the people there, they know us because we've been going there. They know us. Yeah.
Really?
Menshia, the king, and his chiefs, they know us because we have been going there. Yeah.
I've been to that palace once.
Yeah.
In 2015, they took me to it. And he was having court that day. But I didn't make it known that I knew people from your conference. Yeah, or he might have invited me in, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. He's a nice man.
Very
nice
cool.
man. Yeah.
Very
nice.
Very nice. Are most people in this room Ashanti? Yes. Okay. Well, then that's going to be quite a visit on Thursday or Friday. Very nice. All right, let's see. Ashanti South.
Good afternoon, friends. Thank the Lord. Dr. Chris' suggestion, we are about to change our conference to Asante Bekwai Ghana Conference. Yeah, I think very soon the conference name will be changed to Asante Bekwai Ghana Conference. Doc, thank you very much for your submission. Anyway, how we use ACMS for mission. We had 5 items. The first one is we use ACM to wish birthday, to send birthday wishes to our members. And it makes them feel that they are part of the big family. And also some people become intrigued as how you know about my birthday, and we tell them that it is through the ACMS. And secondly, those who gave us 4 days of their birth, when we send them we generate the birthday from the ACMS, and you send them wishes. They say that that's not my birthday, but we tell them that it is the ACMS, so they come and correct it. They come and correct it. Yes.
Good reason to wish them happy birthday.
And
You'll get
those-
the right birthday
Yes.
from them. Amen.
Yes, they come and correct it. And those who did not provide their birthdays on the ACMS, when they hear the church wishing other members or some members' birthday greetings, they come and also give their birthdays to us so that we can wish them when their days are due. 2, on members' categorization. Categorization. Yes. 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 We know and visit the members who are at risk, who don't attend church regularly. And it serves as evangelism, not to the members being visited, but to their folks and their relatives. That, oh, your church, they care. Even these people have not been coming to church, but they always come and visit. So it serves as evangelism, and members who see our regular visiting also at times convince and join us. Secondly, we know the active members, and we assign the active members who are close to those who are regular attendance members to visit them. So we share the job of the pastoral visit among the church members through categorization. And 3 is we use previous religion. This helps us to know some Christian denominations who are easily accepting our message, because there are some churches even who seems to be in antagonism with Adventists in Ghana here. Whenever we pitch our tent to preach, they will go and refute all that we have done. But there are some members from other churches who easily accept our messages. So previous knowledge of previous religion help us to know our strength, where we can work, where we can catch more fish into Adventist church. Then the last one is the address. in Ghana here, it is very difficult to locate addresses. For instance, those of us who live in rural areas, the GPS address don't work for us. Yeah. So when we get to know their address, when they live, we try to find out people who live around that area. That can locate the houses or places of members easily and do visitation. What we can do to improve the ACMS, email is not usually used in our system, but we are WhatsApp friendly. So we are suggesting to the managers or management of ACMS, like Madam, you, that you try to find a way that we can link WhatsApp to ACMS. Yes, if you can. So that since we are WhatsApp friendly, we can use WhatsApp for ACMS. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pastor. I think you guys want us to be busy too. That's what I think. This is wonderful. Central Ghana. Central. Oh, he's up here.
For Central Ghana Conference, we've reached categorization stage. We are working on that, and it has helped us to know the age distribution, regular members, non-regular members, backsliders. So as we've done all these things, it's helping us to know the backsliders. So as a fair view is being shown in the membership from the local level and the district level, also is helping us, it has helped us to know churches which have church building and those don't have church buildings. Fair view of unentered areas too is helping us. And as people are putting structures somewhere, moving from to other places, it's also helping us. So with this, CGC have the following missions on board. As some areas have been developed, it's helping us to plant new churches in new places with the help of personal ministries directors. And it's also helping us to planning for more revivals. We are doing that. We are also reorganizing our districts because as they are moving from one place to another place and we are planting more churches, this thing is also considered. And with the categorization, also helping us making visitation so easier. As we've located the backsliders with their addresses and non-regular people, we have visited them so easy, visiting the backsliders. And with the help of the ACMS and the pictures and everything, we've seen that so many churches don't have church buildings. CGC, through Secretariat, we are helping putting up church buildings too. And another thing that we have also seen and we want to address is internet. For some areas is so difficult, not easy. So we collect information and it's helping us also to do. And at a point, some people are also feel reluctant when we ask them to give some information from whatever they have so that we can put them into ACMS is very, very low. And my point of area, I don't know the other areas, but what I have observed is with the ACMS, the clergy's commitment is so low. In view of this, so many seminars is every day being taking place because the pastors in the districts and the local churches, their commitment level is so low. So the secretariat always, we move from churches, district to district, so many seminars so far as ACMS is concerned. And this is also part of the missions that's helping us. So we've also seen that with the pastors and the church members, they are always interested in numbers. We baptized 10, we baptized 15, but they are not interested in the members to put their names, upload them in the ACMS. And it's calling for much attention so far as the mission is concerned. So to end, we want to suggest if baptismal certificates can be printed through ACMS. I'm done. Thank you.
I do have a couple follow-up questions to who does most of the visitation of the backsliders? Is that pastor, elders, the conference, a combination?
Church elders, members, pastors, as we've seen that so many people are not coming, we employ them to go to visit them. And they've been. At times, it takes place in between Sabbath school and divine service. We need to go before we come and continue with the divine service after Sabbath school.
Is there a record of the visitation anywhere? Like, do you record when somebody was visited so that you know how often somebody was visited? Is that something you guys keep track of, or is it just done informally at the church?
Yes.
It's informal.
Formal. They go, at times they come with the reports.
Okay, but you're not currently, would it be helpful to know how many times and when somebody was visited? And by who? Yes, Pastor Nathan.
There's a form which pastors are supposed to have, visitation forms,
Yes.
which you give out to elders when you have
Every
bring
month
them
they report.
to report. So I think we make an ask. We collect the report from the pastor. They submit. I don't know whether it's been done here, but in my conference before I left, we had that submitted at the end of the month. It's part of the monthly report.
Yes, the
So
so far the situation you've done.
Visitation done by pastors and what others have assisted you to do, put together and submitted to the conference. And with that information, we know those who have needs. And sometimes at the conference level, when we meet at an ADCOM, we call randomly to pray for some of the lists of members that people have visited and pastors have visited. And so that helps in the care of the church members as well.
Is that reporting by the pastors currently done on paper? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes.
It's a paper form?
Paper form.
That is paper form
It's a paper form.
for us to see.
Okay. that's sounding to me like a possibility for something that could be automated. I mean, to enter, if the pastor could do it easily through an app himself and just record that, I was here on this day. And then the system could generate a report of who the visitation that was done. And elders could do that as well, potentially. That sound like something that would be beneficial here? Yes, okay. Okay, so what type of visit, what type of person, who visited, and the date? Yeah, okay. Well, we're thinking, and we'll probably come back and ask for some more ideas on that. But that sounds like something you might not be able to do easily in WhatsApp, right? All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pastor. Greenview, Ghana. Greenview is here.
Yes.
Excellent. Hi, Greenview.
We are doing well. Greenview, we have these points to present on how ACMS can help mission in the church. One, we also talked about categorization, as others have mentioned. We realized that various categories in the church through ACMS has reached, we can use it to reach members from various groups in the church. So we can use various groups in the church to help those groups, their needs and whatever they need in the various groups. So categories can help various groups in the church. Also, we also think of Sabbath counts. Sabbath counts by using ACMS help in membership retention. We found out that when not even counting members second and seventh Sabbath only, but if we are able to count our members regularly on Sabbath to know their whereabouts, it is a retention strategy which can help us to locate the whereabouts of our members. We also have quarterly statistics. ACMS has helped our church to get accurate quarterly statistics to present to our higher organization. Through ACMS, we can assess our performance in baptism and get accurate baptismal reports rather than calling on personal ministries directors to give reports on baptism. ACMS can help us to give accurate baptismal reports. We also have contacts, having contacts of members. Contact of members, we mean we'll be able to use the contact of members like their phones, their localities, their pictures, and whatever means we can use to contact them in order to visit them. So it can help us to visit our members through contacts. Their information through their contact lists can help us to locate them easily. So that is another way that ACMS, through mission, can help the church
We also made mention of locating absent members by the use of ACMS. We can easily locate absent members in all our churches, and that will enhance our visitation as well. ACMS is a tool also for easy membership transfer. Before ACMS, the traditional way of transfer hasn't been an effective. With the use of ACMS, it is very easy to transfer our members. And when a member moves to another locality, experience shows that it is there that we miss a lot of members when they move from their place to another locality. They may stop going to church for one reason or the other. So when a member moves to another area, the former church data manager or clerk can alert the clerk of wherever he is living now, so that they can make contact with them and facilitate their transfer. We also talked about what we can use, what we are hoping for if we are using ACMS as it should. We hope that things like SMS alerts should be included in our ACMS, like giving alerts, giving birthday congratulations messages through ACMS when there is their birthday, or if even something unfortunate happened to a member, we can use an alert to talk to our members. And finally, we hope that ACMS will help us to let our members know our way forward. By this, we expect that during our meetings, conference, pastors' meetings, district meetings, workers' meetings, and even local meetings, data managers and clerks can use ACMS to update our members on how we are failing, whether we are improving on our membership or not. So by this, we hope that ACMS moving forward will help the church. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. I've got some ideas going around based on a couple of those. Okay. Greenview. Oh, I'm so sorry. Greenview was here. Greenview. Mid Central.
Miss Central is here. Okay.
Hello, Pastor.
By God's grace, first of all, I'm speaking on behalf of my boss. He's not feeling well today, so he's not with us. All right. Miss Central Ghana Conference, when we met, these are some of the points that through ACMS mission has been made possible. First of all, we had some challenges with our institutional churches. We realized that it is a venue or an avenue where baptism goes on, because after week of spiritual emphasis, a lot of students are baptized. But unfortunately, when they complete school, tracking them as whether they are continuing the faith was difficult. But through ACMS and the chaplaincy department, now, through ACMS, now, once they are baptized and they complete school, we have a period for them that everybody, wherever you are, request your membership. So the chaplain at the school, after some time, if you haven't requested your membership from the school, contact will be made to where you are fellowshipping so that at least the records will be clean to know that those that have been baptized, they are still continuing their faith. So that is one avenue that ACMS has really helped our institutional churches. Secondly, membership turnover. Through ACMS, at the end of the year, the report gives us a fair view of baptized members, those that have left, what happened to them, and that helps the pastor in planning for the next year as to the method that he is going to use for his districts, for his churches, to maintain those that had issues, one or two, that left the church. So ACMS has also helped in that regard. And then with the church image, because we asked them to upload the image of the church, the project department uses that report to know the churches that do not have church building. So through that, if we are writing a request to the higher organization, we know those churches that have having challenges with church building or that haven't completed. I think last month or so, the union contacted the conferences that churches that have reached roofing stages, they should submit a request. There is some funds that will be used to assist them. Through ACMS, we told them that if you bring your request and we look at the system and there is nothing to prove that you have reached roofing stage, it means you are not part. So ACMS has also helped in that regard. When we come to the categories, most of the time when a pastor is transferred to a different district, he doesn't really have a fair view of his members. But through ACMS, he checks and is able to know all these so that you know that, okay, in this church, there are this number of people that are homebound. In this church, there are this number of people that are ill, so that he will know how to plan his visitation to those people. So it has also helped in that regard. With the biodata, one tool that is on the ACMS that is very, very important is the method of conversion. Now, when you look at that, it gives the church, the district, and the conference a fair view of where our strength is. Is it through evangelism campaign? Is it through family ministries? Is it through radio evangelism or media evangelism? So when you know your strength, you can improve on it. And then the ones that are low, we will look at it and know how to improve on it so that we use all those tools to bring members in, because there are so many people that fall within those categories. So if you only channel it on one, you'll be losing the others. So that also helps in that regard. And then with the educational background and the age groups, it helps in planning for the church. Some activities, if you know that this particular church, majority of them are youth, you know the certain programs that will help to retain them in the church or to help them in the church. If one church is old age, there are certain programs that really do not match their needs. So ACMS has also helped in that regard when it comes to mission. These are some of the requests or the suggestions that we put across. First of all, ACMS is here to stay. So one of our requests is that through pastoral training at our various institutions, ACMS should be made a course, even if a semester, to educate our ministers even before they come to the field. That is one suggestion that we made. Also, some districts or some churches are found in areas where internet access is very difficult. So I don't know if we can have an app or the system can create offline data entry so that the person can do it there, but when he moves to a place where there's internet access, the system will automatically upload that entry. That will also help us. And then last but not the least, our children, our children. ACMS basically focus on baptized members. But the church, unfortunately, we are losing our youth. Those that are not yet baptized, we are losing them to other churches and to other places, should I say. But because they are not baptized, it's really difficult to track them. But if the system can have something in place that baptized members that have children in the church would have them also registered in the system so that these children, if they are baptized, just a click of a button, because since their data is already in the system, then it moves to baptized members. So these are some of the suggestions that we made. Thank you very much.
I want to just mention that we are trying to figure out how to resolve this offline data entry. It's complex, but we are looking at it. Okay, this is not only an issue here in Ghana, but in many places that we work with. And I wanted to add that you may want to make a note as far as asking us later, but we can demonstrate how to add children into a family, even if they're not baptized. Okay, because we do have that capability now. All right. And pastoral training while in school. Yeah. Get that up in the seminary's curriculum, huh? All right. Terrific. Thank you so much. Mid Central, Mid North. Mid North, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, Mid North, we see that ACMS is not only for accounting for membership, but it's also meant for nurturing, retention, and so forth. So we have come out with things that we have been using in our area to retain our members. ACMS is used in a conference by the users platform, through the users platform. We have our users platform in a conference. And through this, we normally have frequent meetings and workshops on ACMS. And on this platform, we welcome all the challenges and other things that our members may be facing in their various churches and districts so that we can address those things and rectify them. We have also pastors' platform that we use to collect all the baptismal reports so that we can do how to go about it in case other church may not have it. And by this, we also have been able to account for our members that have left their mother churches to other places. Because of ACMS, before ACMS came into place, many members leave the church without church members noticing them. But when we were migrating them into ACMS, we were able to contact those people who have left without our knowledge through their friends or family members. And by so doing, we collected their phone numbers and addresses, maybe email addresses, so that we can contact them ourselves. So by this means, we were able to even retain our members that have gone into diaspora without attending church. Through ACMS, we have done that, and then most of them have come back to the church. By means of using the contacts, we have break through the membership that the members that are inactive in their various places. And by so doing, we were able to call them, those that we have their numbers and that are not be attending churches. We were able to call them one after the other, and now they are assigned churches or they have found another church, a place of worship. Through ACMS and through the membership, maybe the phone numbers and then email addresses that we have on the platform, we are able to pray for inactive members. We call them, we pray for them, and we share some interesting topics with them. We also share with them our church activities every day. like Sunday Bible studies, Wednesday prayer meetings, Friday sundown, and other things. All the topic we are able to share with them because we have their numbers and also their WhatsApp numbers. By so doing, we also share flyers with interesting topics to be studied for a particular day or week. And then by ACMS, we're able to also use the church members, the entire church members, for evangelism and also radio evangelism and all that, so that through that we can all come together and then maintain the church. And we are seeing that we advertise our church activities, and then we also give birthday cards or birthday greetings to those who are still in the church or those who are inactive. And we use church elders because we have their locations, their GPT addresses and all that. So we visit them and then we pray for them. We share them, we invite them to the church. So, and by so doing now, I can see that our churches that were lacking, or those that have left the church are now, most of them are now back to the church because of the visitation and then advertisement and then sharing flyers of interesting topics with them. So we want to also suggest, as my brother has said, that in fact, it would be expedient for the church to have it as a course in our theological studies for our theological students, so that when a pastor is coming out from Valley View or any other school, he will be abreast with ACMS and then he can apply it in his ministry and the church, for the help of the church. Thank you.
I want to make sure that all of you pay really close attention when Thiago is demonstrating the 7Me app. All right? We're going to ask for feedback after that as well. Maybe not in the same hour, depends on our time slots. But while we're here, we want to get feedback. We want to get ideas. I'm hearing alerts. I'm hearing calendar events that are happening. And my head is thinking about 7Me as a possible solution for some of that. So I want you to really be paying attention, and we want to look for some feedback on that and be creative on how it can be used even now for some of those needs that you expressed. Midwest, I think, is next. Midwest. Right.
Thank you very much. Midwest, we are using ACMS for retention and mission in so many ways. The categorization period is where we have got into. And that is helping us to contact our members based on the information given to us, like their addresses, their numbers, so we are able to contact them. Now, one thing we are using is when we use the classification and categorization, we got to know that in our area, when we are doing evangelism or mission, there are kind of people we don't go to them because we see them as high-profile people. So when we use that and we go to know, we saw that there are people that are not in our churches. So this time, what method can we use? Because for them, when you go for public evangelism, they will not have time to come to that place. So what can we do so that we can use tracts and books and give it to them so that when they wait? So we are using that on that. On that too, classification and this is helping us to know which method to use for retention in our church. As my brother said, when you have a UFO church, there are topics and education that you do there. The youth will not come because they don't have interest in that. So the categorization is helping us to know. Again, it is helping us to know how many old or aged people are in the house, the certain. And we are using that to visit them time in and time out to know how they are faring. On the same too, we are using that to see regular members and no regular attendance, especially the second and the seventh Sabbath that has been initiated. It's helping us a lot. It is helping us to know whether our church members, we are gaining them or we are losing them. Because we are counting them on second and seventh Sabbath. So by the end of the quarter, we know at the beginning of the quarter, these are the members that we had. But at the end of the quarter, these are the members that we have had. That is helping us to trace our church members. We have been doing ACMS, organizing ACMS training for our managers. We have been doing that so that they can do the work more. Then, when you come to our area, it is very difficult for a church member to give his or her data for you to input it into the system. So we are doing sensitization, telling them why they should do that. And that is helping us a lot for the sensitization at the various churches because they see that there is no importance of putting their information this. So that one too, we are doing that. And we have seen that before ACMS can go on smoothly, we need tools and gadgets to use. The managers are not having it. So the conference is trying its best to get tools and gadgets for our ACMS managers. For now, when we come to our conference, all pastors have been given laptops. Yes, by next month, they will be getting their routers so that it will help them. They are using it with their district managers. So that is what we are doing. We are trying to get it for them so that they can use it for the ACMS. We want to say that if something can be infused into the ACMS system, that will give us opportunities to send motivation messages to our church members, birthday messages and short messages to our church members for them to see that, yes, we care about them so that we can motivate them every morning. If that can be done. Then, as my brother said, we have our youth who are not baptized. They are not part of the ACMS system. So they go to the senior high school, they come, we lose them. So if there will be an opportunity for us to add non-baptized members so that we can track them and see so that we will not lose them as they move along. This is what Midwest was able to come out. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we can add, I want to say it again, we can add young people who are not baptized into the system now. But I'm making a mental note that tracking them, we may need to, because if they're in there as person. But we need to do some work on making sure that it's easy to work with them and to track it. But you can put them in now. Okay, we'll demonstrate how to do that. Yes, there are some reports for those. Yeah. So we'll show you that. But then if we can improve on that, we'd like to know what would be more useful. And regarding the tools and things for your data managers, We also have another, we have a big list of things that we're hoping to do. And providing additional support material is on that list. Tools for support, we're even talking about, I don't know if I hope this doesn't worry anyone, but we're exploring new technologies for chatbots. And if you're familiar with, chatbots where you have some automatic responses. So we're exploring that. That'll be a little while. That'll be a while before we can get it in place. But we recognize that support is something that we don't really have enough support tools for the people doing the work. It's a complicated issue because the program changes all the time. And so if you invest money in doing videos and then they're all translated into we have like almost 30 languages that are being used in ACMS right now. And then we update the program 2 weeks later and the video is now out of date. And we have all the issues of all the languages. I'm not complaining. I'm just I'm just letting you know that it's complicated when we have a system this big. But our church has mechanisms for getting things translated in all the divisions, other material. So we're having to explore some of that to provide some additional support. Right now, I'm grateful you guys have your WhatsApp communities. I think that's terrific. If you somebody puts out a request there, you have a whole community that might respond to that, from what I understand. People will jump in. That's great, but more intentional training on the upside. And again, he mentioned the idea of the pastors getting training while they're in school. Okay. Let's see, Mid-North, Midwest, Mountain View.
Thank you very much, madam. How membership information system is used for missions. As all my colleagues have said, that with the categorization and the classification, it is helping us to reach our elderly and homebound people, vigorous visitation for these people. Sometimes they feel they're not part of the church. But for a long time, maybe there will be no visit for them. So we are doing that with the help of our district pastors and church leaders, deacons and deaconesses. We are for them searching for the missing members. It is helping us. The ACMS is helping us to search for our missing members, not attending at all. Those who are not attending regularly, and we are also, by the ACMS, we are also knowing those who really come to church regularly through the second and the seventh Sabbath counts that we do always. It really helping us. All these help us so far as our retention program is concerned. With the ACMS, it's really helping us to retain our members who, for the past, might be missing, if not in the inception of the ACMS program. And two, madam, we said, what new things are we doing apart from entering the members of the data? And here we have these things to say, Mountain View. Visitation of the churches and the companies. It's a new thing that we're doing apart from entering the data. We are visiting the students in our high schools and tertiary institutions. We have one tertiary institution and 3 high schools over there. So we do visit them. 3 were workshops, training for our clerks and pastors, the data managers, and the other people who are helping us inputting the names into the system. And we are sensitizing members, church members, what is the need of this ACMS and the need for them to help us get the data. They have a whole lot of ideas about this. Sometimes some say even that what we are collecting, the data we are collecting, we are sending to the say platform and stuff like that. But so with sensitization to our pastors and our members, gradually they are coming on board. But it will interest you to know that last year and this year, we got a message from your embassy, United States of America embassy, requesting couples, something about them. So quickly, my assistant tapped the ACMS, record, we went to the contact the information in our system and then printed and then sent it to them before they were issued their visas. Thank you very much for this ACMS. They wanted to know really if they are members. The two couples, last year it came, this year too it has come. So it is really helping us and we are using it. Number three, you were asking us, what are we making to improve the work we are doing so far as the ACMS is concerned? We are trying as much as we could to purchase gadgets and periodic data for power users in our conferences. By the conference itself, the district, we encourage the district leaders to do that, the pastors to buy data for those who are helping and also the churches. Number two, we do constant education for church leaders and pastors, and then constantly monitoring and evaluate the work by the administrators of the conference and our data managers. We do appraisals, yearly budgets. What we have told the administrators to do is that every year we should budget for this ACMS thing so that we can get money in place, money ready for some few gadgets and for data, especially data. Sometimes they use their own mobile phones for input and stuff like that. So we help them to buy those data. My humble suggestion, in some places, remote places, as they have really said, sometimes it's difficult getting information from those places. But once the person is having Android phone, they could easily, even if they are going to climb trees or mountains, they could easily do the input for us when they get baptized. On the Form 10, they can easily send it to us. After baptism, the pastor can do it, send it to us, and the data managers will work on it. So we are appealing to our brothers and sisters here, the conferences, to try, so far as we are concerned. That's why the 10th anniversary, we are saying that we should get the gadgets. But Madam Sherry, we also appeal to you. When you go, the used computers that you don't need, bring them to us so that we can give it to those in our bushes. Thank you so much.
Pastor Nathan, I don't see the treasurer over my shoulder, but I'm going to make a commitment here that my office will make a contribution for some additional equipment. Okay? All right. It won't be enough for everybody, but I'm going to let the officers sort it out, okay? But we will make a contribution, okay? And we are asking a lot of people to use an internet-based system. That's a big request to ask people to use that. And the amount of work that your union is doing and supporting and doing that, even though that's a really hard request, given the amount of equipment and the internet access and the remoteness of some locations. I do recognize that it's a hard request. And we want to make it as easy as we possibly can. We have more we can do to make it easier for those more remote areas. And we're listening and hearing you, and maybe providing a donation for some equipment will help a little bit in some areas. But with the program, we constantly, this idea of doing the offline entering and then having it go in, we've been trying to figure out the best way to do that. And hopefully we'll have a solution for you. It won't be tomorrow, but I want you to know I'm hearing you and that it is on our list of things we're discussing. Okay? All right. North Ghana.
Thank you. North Ghana Mission, we are also on categorization. And it helps us to be able to discover members that are active and those that are not. It also gives us an opportunity to be able to know through the membership counting, second and seventh Sabbath of every quarter. And then apart from that, it also helps us in knowing our members that are missing, our missing members. At the same time, the age brackets of all the members in the churches. Then here we have an issue here, and it is through categorization that we detected that members are transferred, but their names are still in their old churches. So you check, you see a higher number of lists in the church, but the people are not actually in the place. So we are working on how to send those transfers and free the system from that place. And also, we are also how we use ACMS. One of them is it helps our churches to strategize because it helps us in evangelism. It helps us in looking at the demographics of the territory in which the church is located, and then looking at the membership of the church, and it helps us in finding ways to enter and increase the membership. We are working on that assiduously. The next thing is it helps us also in visitation, which we have already mentioned. Then ideas on how we can improve ACMS. We are looking at working to train more. Our field is very wide. So, and because of distance, we find it difficult to bring all the workers together for the training. You have to move out in order to achieve that. So we are working on how to improve, increase the number of secretaries that can also be giving supporting hand to the church secretary so that the exercise can go on well. Apart from that, we also need to bridge, there is a gap that our brothers here and us, we can't be compared to them. And that gap, they are all aware. The first one is access to internet services. Most of our churches, we find it difficult to hook them into the system because of that. Then the next one is tools. They have mentioned that. But I think we are more desirous of the tools than they are. They know. So these are our challenges. But we are praying that if we get this, North Ghana Mission ACMS will be more effective and it will improve. And these are what we have and what we are doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. South Central.
Thank you very much. South Central Ghana Conference, we are trying to use ACMS for the mission that we have given to us. So on the Sabbath count, we are doing it every Sabbath, not on second and the seventh Sabbath. This is helping us that the members will know that if they are not coming, you by all means see them. So every Sabbath, we do the count to check up those who are absent and those who are coming. And if you are not in, by all means, the pastor will call you and ask what is happening. So we are using that one to determine, to maintain membership. Then the visitors who will be visiting us those Sabbaths, we try to keep them, their names and their contact numbers. We are using that one effectively for mission to let them know that we care for them. When it comes to week-long program, when it comes to evangelism program, we call them in because we have contact with them. So we call them to join us for the program, and people are coming to the church. Then on the pop-up of the birthdays, that one is a good tool for us. In the past, you mentioned somebody's name, and people may not know that person. This time, if you are looking for somebody, we mention the name, and people say, who is that person? Then we bring in the picture. Then, wow, oh, this man is here, or that. Then that one is helping us. Sometimes the relocation of members, people are now moving away from the city so sometimes it takes some time to know them. With the birthdays, when you call and you wish him or her, then you see that the next Sabbath he'll be coming to church because you know that one. So we are using that one to help people to come to church. And we do the same thing. Sometimes when you call somebody wishing him or her about their birthday, then he'll come in and tell you he or her problem. That this is the problem maybe I'm having. And that one to help us to know how we can contact the person or deal with that person, resolve the problem that he's facing. So we are using that one too. Then with the pictures of the church buildings, right now, because we have them, everybody knows what's happening with this church or the other church, and they help people to go in to help them. Maybe if the church building problem, they will help people help them to resolve it. So that one too is there. In fact, when you show all the pictures with the church buildings to members, more especially in the city churches, and they will see that they have a church building down there, in deplorable situation, they feel so embarrassed. So these pictures is helping them to help their local churches down there too. We are also using membership classification for mission. With those irregular people, we have time for them. We'll be visiting them as people have already said. So we are using that one too. So I need not to talk much about that one. and with their contacts. Since this ACM have the contact of members, the telephone numbers, we are using that one too. We've charged our pastors that if they cannot visit them at their rural areas, they should call them. Every time we give them internet package for calling their members at the rural areas. And that one is helping mission over there. Then with the classification, those who are worshiping in other SDA churches, sometimes they will say, well, I'm worshiping here. Sometimes not true, but their contact. When you go in and request for one or two members, oh, what is the name of the pastor? Who is there? Then you see that maybe they are not attending. Then with the conversation, you see that where pastor this time I will be going, and these two are. So we know them right, and we know members who are outside worshiping members and with their contact. We have those one too. So that one is helping. Then the age group distribution. We are trying to figure out those in the age group, the age bracket, the youth in particular. We're able to contact them. We have got though they are not on the platform, but because we have their members, their parents, and their father's name on it, we're trying to do that one, adding them one by one to get the youth also in the ACMS. When you go into the ACMS, we have the parent, and at the parent, we have the children and those things. Even those who are interested, the visitors, we have them too, that we are monitoring them. So that is how we are using ACM for mission in the South Central Ghana Conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you. This was very, very helpful for me to hear what you are doing and what you wish you could do. For example, I didn't really realize the birthday reminder was being used that much and for mission. Really, I was picturing other more informal uses, but it really is a tool for mission. And it's interesting how, and the church photo, I hadn't realized that could be used to know which churches, I mean, obviously, but I hadn't been told that before, which churches had church buildings and which didn't. That's wonderful to hear about those unique things. And with Ashanti Central, who started, I mentioned I would comment later, and I know that it's time for lunch, so I'm probably making people nervous. But I'll finish here in just a minute. He mentioned several potential uses and requests of managing volunteers and missionaries and several other things. I would need to talk with him more individually about some of those because the church has some tools for that, but I would like to know a little bit more about their needs. And not now, because it is going to be time for lunch, I believe. Isn't that correct, Bafour? 2 o'clock? Yes, sir. Oh, I've just been told to keep going. The food is not here yet. Okay, then I'm going to ask a question about, I wrote a question down. I want to hear more about attendance. All right. Several of you mentioned that you were doing attendance not just on the 2nd and 7th, but every week. But what? I don't know if I missed something. Some of you may not be taking attendance, right? But some of you are. But it also, I was hearing phrases like, and then we call them if they weren't there, which was just shared. So, in taking attendance, we have right now a mechanism where you can report the numbers, how many came for Sabbath school and church on the 2nd and 7th. And in some cultures, recording who was there would not be acceptable in some cultures. But in this culture, I'm almost hearing that you take attendance by name, not just counting. Is that correct? You actually take individual attendance for each member? By what? Okay, it's by counts. Okay, but I heard some say if people weren't there, they were going to get a call. So you must have a name. Sabbath school classes. Okay. All right. I'm going to say again, be sure you're watching the 7Me demonstration. Okay? Because there's something there that can assist with that as well.
In a number of churches in the South Central Ghana Conference, they are still able to get to know if a particular member wasn't present. Some do a clocking system where they have a data built in there so that if you are able to attend church, you clock in so we know who attended. In churches that are not that sophisticated, they have a picture system on a wall where any member who attends church has the opportunity of covering their face with a paper so that at the end of the service, all faces that are not covered is an indication that they couldn't attend church. And then secretaries are able to call. That one is a manual system. Exactly. Exactly, can do the calling.
Sorry. Yeah, to put a picture up of them. Interesting. Okay. Very good. And my head is still going back to getting a course for the pastors while they're in school. So I think that's an excellent idea. And I'm going to talk to some people to see what I can do to make that happen. But that will take a while as well to get a curriculum and all of that. But I really do like that idea. Now I'm going to skip over. Well, Bafor, how much time do you think we have? 20 minutes? Okay, then I'm not going to skip this section. Okay. I'm going to talk about this more at another time, but I want to let you know of another tool called Integrated Report. We call it Integrated Report because it brings together reports from different departments in the local church. And this is one of the additional products that we have that does have a minimal fee, but I want you to be aware of it because I do believe that this is something that can help support mission as well. So we have a mechanism in, and again, I'll show you this more later, but the local churches, I'm showing the results of a sample from the South American division from the end of last year. But look at the questions that are there. Look at the type of questions that their children's ministries leaders answered in ACMS. ACMS has a mechanism for the church leaders to log in and answer some questions once a quarter to give a report on things that are not the traditional membership statistics like baptisms and transfers. We already have those automated, we already have those mechanisms in place. But questions here, did you have children? Was the children's worship held every Sabbath? Did they have a children's worship? And you can see how many churches said yes and how many said no. How many Bible study classes with children and adolescents? How many community projects with participation of children and adolescents? Number of vacation Bible schools. So each church puts their own information in, and this can be done by the church secretary, or they could send it to the district manager, or the department leaders. Now, again, we've got to give this all some thought in the context of having challenging internet connections. Okay, so I recognize that. But I want you to be aware and be thinking of the possibilities and what might be useful for you. How many children attended VBS? How many Adventist children attended? This is some sample questions from children's ministries. These questions are not, they're not prescribed. These are configurable. You could have your own questions within your division, unions, and conferences. These are questions they use in South America. They are not prescribed. Okay, so this can be customized for your territory. Does your congregation have access to the Hope Channel? Yes or no? Does your church broadcast programs and sermons on the internet? Yes or no? Do you have a website or social media profile that's updated regularly? Total number of social media followers from all accounts, right? This is a reporting tool where the information can be put in at the local church level, and it automatically aggregates as it goes up the chain in the church. The evangelism leader could enter how many campaigns. So we're seeing the total here from a division point of view for this division. But a conference can run this same report and see the information for the conference, and a union can do the same. How many youth evangelistic programs were held? How many evangelistic schools and students? Health ministries, do you offer a course for healthy cooking? Yes or no? Did you hold an In Step for Life project? Yes or no? Number of health fairs. How many health fairs did your church have? And so through this division in this quarter, there were almost 2,000. How many people attended? And number of stop smoking classes. So these can be used to help measure church life, measuring the life of the church, not just the number of baptisms, but how many other activities are being held. So if a church is doing something, or if there's an initiative at the division or union or mission, those levels can add a particular question into this about how many times did you have that event? How many non-Adventists attended? How many young people participated? Those things are hard to measure in a lot of other ways. So that's why we have provided provided a tool to help with that, to help be able to record that. So once again, we went over this in the last hour, a couple hours ago. The more complete and up-to-date your information is, the more valuable it will be for analysis and mission. And I just want to close with a quote from Ellen White here. It says, if Christians were to act in concert, moving forward as one, under the direction of one power, for the accomplishment of one purpose, they would move the world. For the accomplishment of one purpose, they would move the world. What you've shared with us today about ACMS has been invaluable, and it will help us continue to move forward in a way that I believe, I hope, will be helpful as you are doing the work of moving the world here in Ghana. I thank you for your participation in the discussion and for sharing the insights from your conferences and missions. And I think that I'm ready to close unless we still need more time. And if that's the case, I'll take some questions. But what would you like to do at this point?
Let's give an applause again. On behalf of the division, we just want to say thank you for your word and the promise to give whatever equipments that are necessary for us to function the way we have to function. To say that means a lot, that she's sourcing for equipment for us means a lot to us because she has us on her heart. And I want to say thank you for what you are doing for Ghana, and to make sure that we are able to get a very darker green. Darker green, yeah. You did mention that we need to pay for this, the last. Okay, all right. I was going to suggest that in terms of membership, in terms of Sabbath School membership, how we'll be able to incorporate, because here in Ghana, we still mark the records. We ask questions of the care coordinators. How many people did you visit? Share, clothing, value, everything put together. So those reports that are necessary for the Sabbath school is something that we do each Sabbath. And it seems so cumbersome for people to still use paperwork. How do we incorporate that on the system to make it, a viable thing for people to go there constantly, which will push people to get all members there because we mark members' attendance so that we don't only do a head count, but specifically we are able to tell that this person came to church, and then we'll be able to follow up if the person is absent.
As I mentioned before, we need to really focus on the 7Me presentation that's coming up later this week. It has Sabbath school and the ability to record individuals' attendance in the Sabbath school portion. And it has the ability to ask questions of the Sabbath school members. And Thiago will show us what types of questions can be asked. But if we need a new type of question, then that's what we need to work with you on. And maybe we need a different type of question. Like you mentioned, what was the value of the clothes? I'm not sure if right now we have the way to do a value, but we have the way to ask members questions via the 7Me app. And it sounds to me like most people have smartphones here. So we'll be talking about rolling out 7Me here in Ghana. That'll be the first union, Northern Ghana. Oh, they've already started. Yeah, they've started rolling 7Me out, but we'll talk about that more later in the week. And so that hopefully we can meet those needs. But the types of questions that you ask during Sabbath school, that's something we can maybe address if we don't have the right kind in there right now. Okay? So that's why I want to say this as well, that we are going to be striving, as I mentioned, with ACMS 2.0 to be more proactive. Now there's 3 of us on staff, not just 1, and we're going to try to be more proactive and ask questions of your leadership, like what are the bottlenecks? What are the challenges? What are the inefficiencies that you're facing using ACMS or something else, because we may be able to help smooth something over. Either we may already have a solution or partial solution, or it will inform us that we need to consider something else. So we want to hear what your needs are for Sabbath school. You mentioned it was very cumbersome to get that report. That's the kind of thing we want to hear about and see if there's an opportunity for us to make a little bit of a difference there. So we do want to hear about it. If we don't hear about it, we weren't going to put it in. If nobody's asking for something, we're not going to put it in. So we want to be more proactive with those kinds of inquiries. All right, and with that, I think we're ready to close this session. I'm going to turn it back over to
We are coming back by 3:30 for one more presentation. So we can break now. Let's ask Sister Julie to lead us in prayers. She wants to check whether the food is ready before we break. Okay, let's pray. I think we can hang around as we wait for the food. Father Divine, we thank you for wonderful presentations. We are so grateful for calling us to work under your vineyard. We pray that all these wonderful messages will impact our ministry as far as the Secretariat is concerned. Thank you so much. As we break, continue to bless us in Jesus' name. Amen.